What's up everybody, Brett Medlock here. This is a little bit of a late video. I had previously done my E3 predictions for Nintendo and Xbox on the Nintendo Enthusiast and Xbox Enthusiast channels, and that was about like 3 weeks ago. I was supposed to do this one around that time, but I got sidetracked with like God of War and the Vita stuff, you know, the normal stuff that I post to this channel. So I wanted to go over it now, my predictions of what I think is going to be at Sony's E3 2018 conference. Let's jump in. All the stuff is in no particular order, and a lot of it probably is not going to happen, but let's just start off with Resident Evil 2, the remake we have known about for such a long time, and we still haven't seen anything on it. And we've gotten like teases, and they've talked about it a bunch, but we've never actually seen any gameplay or any teases of any sort. So I think since Resident Evil 7 was unveiled at Sony's E3 2017, I'm not sure, one of those, it was showed off there. I think that they might do the same thing with Capcom, show off the Resident Evil 2 remake. Even though it's a multi-platform game, I guess they might have something exclusive on the PS4 version. I don't know if it'll be VR, because I'm not sure if this game will be in first person. I hope it isn't, honestly. I hope it's either in third person or even the classic fixed camera angles, or maybe some combination of the two. But I am super excited for it, and I hope that they show it off at Sony's conference, just because everyone would get so hyped, and I'm going to be in the crowd, hopefully. Still haven't gotten my approval from Sony. I got Xboxes. I'm going to Xbox's show, but I'm not sure about Sony's yet. So hopefully I'll be in the crowd, and the crowd's going to go wild. That's my favorite parts about this industry and what makes it all so exciting. So I'll just jump straight on to the next one. We already know about From Software's game. We saw it teased at the Game Awards. We don't know anything else about it. There's a lot of people that think it's a game from a previous series, and some people that think it's connected to Bloodborne 2. I'm honestly not sure, but I think we're going to get all of our answers at this conference, because if it follows the trend of Bloodborne, it's going to be a PlayStation 4 exclusive, which is a huge deal, and I'm excited for that studio. I think that Bloodborne just exploded. Like, even though Dark Souls was a huge thing, Bloodborne was just out of this world popular. Everyone loves it. So I'm excited to see what this game is all about. So I'm not sure if you know about this already, but The Last of Us gameplay is said to be unveiled at E3 by Neil Druckmann, the director. During PSX, he had said that there's probably going to be gameplay this year at E3, and I believe him. I think that's either going to open the show or end the show. I honestly hope it ends the show, because if they open with something that huge, the rest of it might not stack up in comparison. But The Last of Us is probably my most anticipated game of all time. The first one's my favorite game of all time. And I don't have much else to say about this, but except I cannot wait. This is going to be so awesome. This year is just full of awesome stuff, and I'm excited to take part in it. Next up, we got Sucker Punch's game, which is called Ghost of Tsushima. This is following their infamous franchise. They finally left that series behind, and they're starting something new. I hope it's a brand new series for the PlayStation 4. I have total faith in them. They know gameplay so well. The infamous games are criminally underrated in my opinion. Second Son is some of the best gameplay that I've played this year. Yeah, the story didn't stack up in comparison to the other games, but the gameplay just nailed it, knocked it out of the park, felt so good. So I'm super excited for this one. We'd already seen a cinematic trailer for this game, but we don't know what the gameplay is going to be like. So it's going to be super interesting to see what it's all about. I can't wait. I totally have faith in them, like I said, and I don't have much else to say about it, but other than the fact that I think it's going to be there, and I doubt it's going to be playable, but I think it's going to be a big like showcase for PlayStation this year at E3. I think another gameplay unveiling that we're going to see is finally Death Stranding. We've seen so many trailers, so many awesome cinematic trailers. We've never actually gotten a look at what the gameplay is like. I think this year is the year we finally see it. Even though I think that game's probably still a couple years out, I think it's okay to show some gameplay, get some people excited. As Hideo Kojima has said, the game started whenever it got announced. This is all experiencing the game, apparently, leading up to it. So let's just take his word for it and hope that they show us something awesome at E3. After being shown years back, we saw Days Gone. I think Days Gone's finally going to get a release date, and it's not this year. They had already confirmed, but I have a feeling it's going to be early next year. I'm thinking January or February, mainly because I don't think that they should have Days Gone and The Last of Us too close together. Those games look really similar when you're staring at them. Yeah, they're wildly different when it comes to gameplay, but if you see the setting and the characters of Days Gone, and like even the enemies, and then you see The Last of Us, they look strikingly similar, which I'm perfectly fine with, because I love those settings, I love those enemies. So I think that they're going to have to get this game out as soon as possible. The developer Sony Ben has said that Sony is giving them a huge amount of time to work on this game, that they're super thankful for it. I hope it pays off for them. I haven't seen much hype around this game, but I think that if it's a big hit critically, then it could bring in a lot more sales. I'm super looking forward to it. As I said, I hope we get a release date, and I hope it's early next year. One of the things that everybody's been waiting for is the PSN name change. Is it finally going to happen? We had heard some seriously, like, almost for sure rumors years back that it was going to happen, and still we have not gotten anything on PSN name changes, which is just totally mind-blowing. It's been ever since 2006 is when PSN started, so 12 years later we still cannot change our PSN names. I think in Japan or something you can like have your display name different. I'm just hoping that they do something like that at least in the US. I'm not sure why they already haven't. But PSN name change, I'm not sure if this is something they would announce during their show. I think they might show this off in their like pre-show and like make it like a trailer for like a new PS4 update or something like that. I could totally picture that happening. But I think this year is finally the year. One obvious thing that Sony's going to have during their conference is the new Call of Duty Black Ops 4. We know that this game is coming later this year in September, I believe, getting out right before Red Dead. They don't want to be around the same time as Red Dead because they're just going to get destroyed. But October this year, we're going to get Call of Duty, and just like last year, or I'm not sure if it was last year, but the year before, we saw Infinite Warfare at Sony's press conference. I think we're going to see the same thing this year, and it's not really much to say about that. It's a multi-platform game. It's not super exciting, in my opinion, to have during a Sony conference, but there's a lot of Call of Duty fans. I'm a big Call of Duty fan, but I just don't think it necessarily belongs in this conference, but I'm totally fine with that. They got the marketing deal, even though those are pretty lame, in my opinion, to get a marketing deal and get DLC first. It's just, it doesn't really seem gamer-friendly. But anyway, one of the other things I want to talk about, aside from that, is PlayStation VR. They had pushed this pretty big the last couple of E3s, but I think this E3, they're actually going to step back a little bit. I don't think it was necessarily the success that they wanted it to be. I think that it was still a pretty big deal to a lot of people, but when it comes to the mass majority, like the mass market, it didn't hit expectations. Even if they say it did, I don't believe it did, and I think that they're going to step back a little bit. I think they're going to do what they did with the Vita, slowly like talk about it less. Or I could be completely wrong. They might have another PlayStation VR headset on the way, like a better version, a 2.0, which would make me really happy, especially if they could keep that price point. I've been wanting to jump in, but I knew that this was going to be something that was going to get iterated on hundreds of times before it's perfect. So I think I would finally jump on board if they came out with another one, but if they don't, if they're just going to abandon it, then I'm not going to at all. This one's super random. From here on out, this is pretty much my pie-in-the-sky prediction, stuff that's probably not going to happen, but I hope it does. I hope we finally get Uncharted Golden Abyss on PS4. I love this game on Vita, and it's been a long time since I've played it. I've platinumed all the other Uncharted games, and I want to platinum this one again. I played the Vita version, but I just want to play through it again on PS4 in HD with like slightly enhanced graphics. I think that would be a pretty cool thing for them to do. Naughty Dog has said that it's not out of the question, even though they didn't develop that game. I'm pretty sure they have like not say, because Sony obviously has say over what happens with that series. But I think Naughty Dog was actually pushing to get this game on PS4 just because like the Nathan Drake collection, that's a Nathan Drake game, so it was totally missing from that. But I think it'd be cool to include that game. Maybe if you bought the Nathan Drake collection, they could be like, if you own that, you get this game free today. That would be pretty cool to have during the show floor. If you own the Uncharted collection, you get Golden Abyss for free today. It's live on PSN. I think that would be really awesome. That's a pretty big prediction. I don't think it's necessarily going to happen, but it would be super awesome, I think. Now, my two final predictions that are super pie in the sky, probably definitely are not going to happen, is I want to see PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2. This was a game that I personally love my time with. I platinumed it on Vita and PS3. I would have loved the PS4 version since it was a late PS3 game, but we never got that. But I think that this series could lead into something. I think if they backed away from trying to do their own thing and copied more of what Super Smash Bros. Does, I think it has a better chance of succeeding. Because when it comes to the gameplay, the fighting mechanics, they're like salad. Sure, some characters were better than others, but if they just honed in on making the characters work with one another better, I think that this could be a big series. I think it could be a big deal. But I honestly doubt they're going to do that. It wasn't a very big success, and we've already gotten like PlayStation characters in Smash Brothers that should have been in PlayStation All-Stars, like Cloud and Snake. It's not really that big a deal. I just think that they shouldn't have given up on it so quickly. They closed down the studio, Superbot Entertainment, that made this game, and that really upset me because I thought it had like a chance of growing into a franchise. But I'm probably wrong. And lastly, the big one that I want to happen, I'm gonna predict it, just in case, even though I know it's definitely not going to happen, is a PlayStation Portable 3. As you know, the PSP and the Vita, this would be the third iteration, a full-blown, brand new handheld from Sony. I want this so bad. I love handheld gaming. I love the Switch. I love the Vita. I love the 3DS. And I just want Sony to continue. I don't know why, like, necessarily they would give up, because The PSP was a big deal. Yeah, it sold a lot because of like people modding it and like downloading ROMs on it and stuff like that. But I think they still had a bunch of great games. They supported it a lot better than they did with the Vita. I mean, we got 2 God of War games. We got a Resistance game. We got a bunch of like awesome third-party games that were a big deal. When it came to the Vita, everyone just kind of stopped supporting it after the first year, which is one of the reasons why I think it super died, and because Sony just did a terrible job of marketing it. But I think if they came out with a powerful handheld, similar to the Switch, doesn't have to be much powerful or maybe not even as powerful, and have it be smaller, I think that it could be a big deal. I think that Sony shouldn't just straight up give up. I mean, look at Nintendo. The Wii U like pretty much did terrible when it released, and now they're thriving with the Switch because it's not like they're going to give up after having one bad generation. So I don't think that Sony should give up either. I think that the PlayStation Portable 3 could be a big deal. I think they're going to scrap the name Vita completely. I think that puts a bad taste in a lot of gamers' mouths. I'm not sure why, because the Vita's awesome. But I think that they should not give up. That's all I'm saying. Don't give up on handheld gaming, Sony. Don't do it. That's all I got, guys. I'm probably forgetting a bunch of big stuff. I didn't really prepare for this. I kind of just wrote down the stuff that came to mind right before this video, but it's mainly because I wanted to know what you guys had in mind. Leave everything down in the comment section below. Tell me what you think is going to be at E3 in general, Nintendo, Xbox, all the third-party stuff. I want to know what you think. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. Please give me a thumbs up. And if you like other content, I got Nintendo Enthusiast, Xbox Enthusiast, and my buddies run PC Gaming Enthusiast that I also guest on. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will talk to you guys later.
Sleep, I get a little bit, love, I got a lot of it. Wife is #1, but she's also kinda delicate. Keeps her on top, kinda hard to operate, yet I don't care, cause my platinum number's 48. 25 years old, really like to lose, still obsessed with Pokemon. Sure, I'm getting old, but it won't be long till I'm